Alrighty guys, what's going on? Drone worship in your face, and this comes to you courtesy of Sean Brooks. He's just a guy that watches my channel that thought that, you know, me and him had talked about this drone, and then he decided it would be a good thing to show on my channel. And we've seen a lot of crappy reviews about this thing and nobody could get it working, and I have to tell you right out the hole, I was extremely frustrated with this drone. The instructions they send you are absolute, just hideous. They're hideous. They're so bad. So I decided to make a complete breakdown video showing you everything you need to know. This will be about the standard version, but I believe the majority of this is probably going to apply to the upgrade version as well. The only difference is Wi-Fi and all these avoidance sensors and camera and all this stuff will be active. On this version, there is no camera. None of the obstacle avoidance sensors on rear or front are active. But this also does have gesture mode, 3-axis gimbal stabilization. Like, the upgrade version of this is roughly around $170. And if it does everything that it says it can do, that would put it up there in the Xeno range at least. It will be running on 5G, so they say. Maybe at some point I will purchase the upgrade version. This was very nice of Sean Brooks to send this. Kudos to Sean, man. Great guy, awesome, awesome individual. So I'm going to do a complete breakdown of this. I'm going to show you why things weren't working for other people. And I got to tell you, I've heard quality complaints about the transmitter, but mine is feeling very solid. I also want to state the fact that this drone has been recalled 3 times, okay, for firmware problems, which I thought originally that the port on the side here, this USB port, if you guys can see that, was for charging the drone. It is not. It is actually for firmware upgrades. I'm trying to reach out to the company to find out if there's going to be more upgrades in the future, but I'm having a hard time finding who actually designed this quad. So there's also no optical flow sensor, as you can see. There's a hole here where a lot of the sensors should be on the standard version. But like I said, guys, they do have an upgraded version of this, which apparently is a lot better than the standard. But I must admit, this thing is heavy. It looks good. It definitely folds up just like a Mavic Pro. The flight time last night was fantastic. I did manage to get this connected to GPS. So today we're going to do a complete breakthrough of how to get this thing up and going. And I'm going to tell you right now, there are stuff that has changed on the transmitter since this was first released. Now I'm out here at my new park, okay? This park is in my community. It rarely ever gets used. There's a massive field out here. This is perfect for me and testing a lot of my drones that I'll be doing in the future here, so it's good that I know about this park now. This is my first time here. It is very windy today, which is going to be awesome to show you guys how well this is going to work into the wind. But let's start with putting this thing together, point 1 to point B, all the way to the end, A to B, okay? So you guys can see how to set this up. All right, you shouldn't have to bind it. If you turn on your transmitter and within the first 15 seconds it doesn't bind to your drone, okay, automatically, there's no binding procedure. So if you 15 seconds goes by and it's not binding and you do this again and again and again, you have a problem with your unit. Because I'm going to show you how fast this works. I have not been able to find a binding procedure. The other thing I've not been able to figure out yet, which I'm sure I will at some point, is mode 2. This came in mode 1, and I have tried every stick command and functionality of the buttons I can think of to try to change it to mode 2. There's no mode 2 in the directions. They don't show you how to alter it. So this is going to feel really backwards to me flying this with reverse controls. I'm so used to mode 2 that mode 1 is going to be hard. I'll be able to do it, trust me, but my flying might not be wonderful just because everything's going to be reversed. So let's get this kicked off. I'll see you guys in a sec. All right, guys, so you got your CG033 out of the box, and you're ready to unfold the arms. So the first thing you're going to do is grab the front arms on top, and you are going to bend these back until they snap into place. Pretty easy. Bend and snap. They are in place now. We're going to take the bottom ones and we're going to pull them forward like so. Pull forward like so. It is now set up. Do not overexert yourself. If you're putting too much pressure, you will break the arm. Okay? To detach the props, guys, these are just like the Spark. As a matter of fact, they are identical to the Spark props. To remove props, you push down and figure out way it's turning, and pull out. They come out just like the Spark. They are identical. Even the motors are identical to the Spark. So when you want to put them back in, push down and twist in the direction that they go, and then they lock into place. Just like the Spark with our brushless motors. All right, so you've seen how to unfold it. You've seen how to detach the propellers if you need to. The next thing we're going to get into is how to charge this thing. So I'm going to flip this upside down. When you first get it out, I was so confused by this. I couldn't figure it out when I first got it. And so let me set this down real quick. The battery comes like this. This balance port was pushed way in there, and honestly, you need the balance port because that's what the hobby grade charger is for. It is a balance port charger, so when you get your charger, plug it into the wall, and then plug this into the 3S balance port. There's going to be 3 red lights. When they're done charging, they will all turn green. It means it's had a balance charge, which is good that it does come with a hobby grade balance charger. And then all you do is tuck the balance wire back in there, and you can stick it back in your quad. This is a 3S battery, 1800 milliamp 3S battery. I do not know what the discharge ratio is for this, but it clips in very easily and it looks good. It looks good. All right, this is ready to go. Now you're gonna have to get some AAAs here. It's going to take 4 AAA batteries. We've already put them in there. And by the way, guys, for some reason I did find that this transmitter eats through AAA batteries. So make sure you get some rechargeables if you're going to be using this. Get some decent hobby grade rechargeables. This is the standard version, so it does not come with Wi-Fi. It doesn't come with a camera. None of the sensors are active. The GPS is GLONASS, so it does work. GLONASS means it can run on US satellites and Russian satellites if needed. So it collects almost 18 to 20 satellites. So this thing does fantastic with its position fix, and mine accumulates satellites pretty quickly. But let's go through the calibration procedure. You've got this set up now. It's ready to be pushed to the boundaries for the first time. For those of you that are running on the Wi-Fi app, this is as far as you would go. Then you would have to download the app, which I will put a picture of here in the left-hand corner if you guys wanted to download that app. I found that the instructions also did not show me what app to download, so through some research, I managed to figure that out. I'm trying to take the frustration out of this drone for all of you, okay, whether you have the standard or you have the upgrade version. Now, obviously, without the upgrade version, I can't show you the gesture motions and how all the optical avoidance works, but I can get you set up and flying and into the basics. So let's go take this over to the field. I'm going to grab my fly pad, my takeoff landing pad, and set it up, and I'll see you guys in a sec. Alrighty guys, so I have the Aosema CG033 set up out here. I have to be very careful because it is extremely windy today. It's a lot windier than I expected it was going to be. And there is a hawk or an eagle that keeps flying around here, so I have to be very mindful of him. But it is extremely windy out here. I'm talking at least 15 mile/hour gusts, so we're going to see how this does. So the binding procedure to get this set up within the first 15 seconds is basically push the button, hold this down for like 3 seconds. There you go. And then if it binds correctly, you should see on the telemetry that you have RX and TX. If it's still reading 0 for RX, which is the quad, then it did not bind properly. So now it's looking for satellites. It says 0 satellites, gives me my speed, height, and distance. It looks like everything's in meters. So we're going to give this a chance to get connected to satellites. But the biggest thing I noticed is that when you try to take off and there's no satellites, it just gets completely botched. It won't do anything. So what we're going to do first is we are going to calibrate the compass. To do that, I'm going to hold, I believe the compass is this way, and then gyros are this way. We'll see here in a sec. I'll let you know which one it is. So I'm going to push this up to the corner and then drop this down so you guys will be able to see. Okay, so that was gyro, was up left, down right. Okay, and this is going to be the calibration for the compass. You're going to go down left and up right. Okay, so now it's in calibration, and what I want to point out, guys, is when you do this, you need to do it fluently. So you're going to pick it straight up, and you're going to do this until you hear the quad beep. Figure eights, nice and slow and precise. If the calibration goes correctly, then the drone will beep, and the lights will turn solid again. Okay? So that calibration did not quite work right. Let's try that again. It may be because there's rebar in the basketball court. So let's do this. All right, it says it's ready for a calibration again. So we're gonna pick it up. Like I said, guys, calibration is everything. Slow and precise. All right, it finished. It's telling me it's good to go. The lights on the back are now solid green, stating that it's ready for takeoff. Let's make sure this is locked in. There we go. Don't want those to be off at all. Good to go, good to go. Okay, so we're good. It is, I believe, prepared for its first flight here. It says I have 11 satellites, and 1 LED means that you have GPS, it's connected, it's ready to go. I did notice that when I pushed auto takeoff, it does nothing. Auto takeoff, nothing. However, if you bind, okay, if you unlock the motors by going in, like so, then it's good. Now, because this is mode 1, this is going to be my throttle and yaw, and this is going to be my forward, backwards, left, and right. So I'm going to go up with it. Okay, we're going to let it find its position fix here. Okay, I hate flying backwards controls, but as you can see, it's doing very well. So let's take it out here to the field a bit. Remember, yaw is on this side and so is altitude, so everything's reversed from what I'm used to. Okay, so let's take it out to the field because it's too windy to be flying right here. There we go. Try to get in between these trees comfortably. Well, you guys can see what's going on. It is definitely doing a good job fighting the wind. So I'm gonna let it sit there for a sec. You can see it's traveling a little bit because of the wind. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in rate level 2. So this is medium speed here. So let's see how it does. Not too shabby. Let's start a turn here. I'm gonna keep it under forward pitch, and I'm just gonna keep the yaw going around. Lost a little bit of altitude there. Nothing serious. Start our turn here. All right. Let's bring it back into us here. Drop it down a tad. Man, this feels so weird with reverse controls. It's so backwards. Okay, so let's bump it up to rate level 3. Look at that wind push it around, man. It's windy. All right, now we're in high rates. I'm gonna take it up a little higher. We currently have 11.7 volts. So let's see how it tears. Oh yeah, it's a lot faster in rates level 3. Let's see how it does in a turn. Is it gonna dive bomb? Nope, it's holding its altitude pretty good. Little dive there. Came down a little bit. We'll raise it up. Yep, okay, so it was starting to dive a tad. Kind of acting like the Xeno, honestly, from Hubson. That's what it's acting like. Let's bring it in here. It's a twitchy thing. All right. Let's bring her down because I know you guys can't see that in the sunlight. Let's bring her over here. Wow, that's very windy. Very, very windy. Let's see how it does just fighting the wind like that. It's holding its position. It's doing a little bit of rocking around, but it's holding its position. I'm not touching it. It's moving a little bit. It's getting pushed, but it goes back to its position. Lost a lot of altitude there. So man, this thing's probably not good to be flying on this kind of windy days like this. Can it hold its position? The answer to that is yes. It can hold its position. Let me go out to the field a bit here. I got people coming in, so that's full tilt forward. And rates level 2 or 3? 3. We're in rates level 3. A little bit of a dive there. Go ahead and let off. I'm gonna yaw while it's in place, see how it does. Okay. Drop it back down. Make sure nobody was behind me. So I gotta say, guys, it's functioning very well. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Let's give it some height while we do it. Man, that wind is really beating it up though. It's such a light duty quad that it's just getting beat up. Now, I've decided to take it up there higher so that we can fly a little more. So I'm pushing straight out. We're bringing it back here now. It's definitely getting kicked around by the wind. It's a windy day. Oh boy, that's a lot of wind right there. Oh boy. Look at that wind coming in. Look at it stay there though. It's fighting it, man. That's a lot of wind. It's just chilling. Wow. That's a crazy amount of wind right there. That's like 23, 24 miles an hour. It's getting pushed around a bit, but it's flying. Look at that. That's fantastic. You see this? That is absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna bring it down. We're gonna bring it in a little closer so you can see how crazy this wind is. Look at that lean back. It is leaning this way into it, but it is just hanging out. I'm impressed. At GLONASS, we got 17 satellites right now. We are coming up on 11.4 volts, and remember, this thing doesn't get low on battery until like 10.3 volts. That's when it starts to get low, so it still has a ton of battery life left. Crazy. Let's take it up a little higher again and send her out. Windy, windy, windy. Look at it. Fighting right through it. That's crazy. So for those of you that thought this thing was like really toy range, man, it's holding up very well, especially for the wind it's flying in right now. If I let go, it'll just slow down, stop, and stay there. That's pretty darn good, man. Pretty darn good. I'm impressed now at this point. I don't really have to treat it like a toy. Going into the wind, when you turn though, it will lose a little bit of altitude, so just make sure to monitor your throttle. There we go, it just went back up. Full tilt forward. Flying like a champ. I don't know, guys, if the upgrade model is as good as this one, I would say it's pretty decent. Lost quite a bit of altitude there turning away from the wind. Now when I let go of the stick, it rises a little bit. I go up. All right, let's do a full throttle punch here. So yeah, it doesn't have much punch, but it's got some pretty good tilt factor. Yeah, it doesn't like It doesn't like to fly into heavy winds. But like I said, guys, that's almost 20-mile-an-hour winds at least. Some of these gusts I'm getting are 25. It's a very windy day. Oh, we're at 11.2 volts. This thing will easily fly for 15 minutes, no problem. They say it gets a 25-minute flight time. I would calculate probably more around 20, 21 minutes. But it is doing really well. Roll works perfect. Altitude down. Doesn't come down very fast. That's full down. And like I said, it doesn't go up very fast either. That's the punch out. So that's full tilt in windy conditions. So not extremely fast. Yeah, it says I'm still in high mode. So let's see if we can take her to the end of the field. Let's see how the telemetry works here. The height, 14 meters, that seems accurate. It says I'm 136 meters away. That also seems accurate. Okay. Now the real question is, I took off on the basketball court. Do you guys think it'll come back and land on the basketball court if I push return to home? I'm gonna take it higher up in the air. That way we know we're gonna miss all the trees and stuff. All right, so it's pretty high. It is 28 meters high at 132 meters away. Let's push return to home and hopefully we don't kill anybody. Let's see how it does. Return to home. All right, it's coming back. It's coming back under its own power. Let's hope this goes smoothly. Pretty good so far. Let's see if it starts to slow down. It is slowing down. Wow, not bad. I gotta give it credit. I don't know if I can cancel this. I might want to. It's coming down pretty fast. Definitely coming down pretty quick. So the telemetry is accurate. That's pretty darn good. That's where I took off. Let's see if I can cancel it. I can. Excellent. I was able to cancel return to home. Awesome. Well, guys, I gotta say, man, I'm actually impressed by this. I want to see what the upgrade version can do now. So to land, what you have to do is get it kind of close to the ground. Okay, get it close manually, wait for the wind to die, and then let me pull her down just a tad bit more. I think it registered it was really close to the ground when I let off, and then push land, and it'll just commit to it. So the automatic landing does work, but the automatic takeoff does not work. So you got to arm it by going in and then giving throttle, and then it'll go up. But to land, get it close to the ground and then commit to the automatic landing. So it says I'm still at 11.3 volts, which means 11 volts. I could have run this down to like 10.1 is the lowest you're supposed to go. 10.3 is like basically, hey, it's time to land. It'll engage RTH at that point. But do I think it gets that kind of runtime? I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. I'm impressed by the standard version. I would love to see what the upgrade version of this has to offer. It made it to the end of that field with absolutely no issue. Absolutely no issue. The return to home worked flawlessly from all the way at the back end of the field. It's basically right where we took off. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better landing spot. It may be about 3 or 4 feet off its original takeoff, but in these windy conditions, this thing performed admirably. I really had no problems. Am I saying that everyone that purchases this drone is gonna have a good time or it's gonna work flawlessly like it did for me, for you guys? Absolutely not. The fact of the matter is, this is still a cheap drone. As a person that does fly decent products, you know, I think this is probably going to be hit or miss on quality. I think it may work great for some people and other people may get completely screwed by this, and the company's not going to back up anything that you do. But I'm going to go ahead and land it there and put it in storage state because I have more ideas for this. I am going to stick an FPV setup on here, 5.8 at 25 milliwatts, so I can fly this with goggles and see how it does. I'm still going to continue working on trying to get this in mode 2, but as of right now, guys, I'm actually impressed by the standard version. It is extremely windy out here right now, and this thing handled it like an absolute champ. So